speaking directly to camera to members of the resistance, for their leaders to do something, to fight back.
Most Americans said he was making the tensions worse. He was responsible for the riots getting worse.
Let's jump into this CNN panel, further breaking down Governor Newsom's speech that we covered in part this morning as a way to further dive into the chaos being caused by the Trump administration. So take a moment if you can, leave us a like on the video, and let's hop right into the discussion.
Pleading among Democratic voters, among Democrats across the country, for their leaders to do something, to fight back. Gavin Newsom was handed an opportunity, and he's trying to use it to the best of his ability, not just with the content of what he said, but just even the way that he delivered it. It was kind of a state of the state address, speaking directly to camera, to members of the resistance.
It's always funny to me when I see MAGA trying to manufacture rage that just doesn't exist in left circles, as if we have to capitulate to their framing, the same framing that has them saying 2020 election was stolen and everybody in the world is in a conspiracy against Trump, mind you. But we on the left want someone to fight like Gavin Newsom. Like, we've been waiting for someone to do this. Now, I, of course, have my own qualms with Gavin Newsom, but I am glad that somebody is doing something. I mean, the facts on the ground are objectively that the LAPD had everything under control until Trump's federal agents escalated. They themselves said so. Nobody asked for the National Guard to be federalized. Trump did it for political points. Some violence did occur, of course, but the overwhelming majority of these protests have been peaceful. It's been confined to a very small minority of the area of LA, to a very small minority of the protesters doing anything. But Trump did further escalate in bringing in the National Guard, where it's, again, important to note, California is a sanctuary state. LA is a sanctuary city. In that sanctuary state, if the Trump administration just didn't try to overstep states' rights with their Gestapo force grabbing brown people, I mean, none of this happens in the first place.
In 2020, that is how a lot of voters reacted. What Trump is doing is not, they're pulling after, especially the incident outside the White House, holding the Bible up in front of the church. Most Americans said he was making the tensions worse. He was responsible for the riots getting worse. In Portland, same sort of thing happened. Different topic, because that was about racial justice. This is about non-citizens. But that is where they're all trying to get. And the Democrats who are taking some criticism, because why are you not just condemning the riots and going? They just don't think they can. They need to say this is authoritarian and not necessary.
Yeah.
It's because Americans are truly tired of this clearly fascist Trump regime and their blatant lies that have been caught and called out numerous times already. And they are exactly right. Trump purposefully escalated this in a manner that would give him political attack lines, clips, and ads to run, because he values that over all else, over country. And because things like this meet the third and fourth tenet of fascism to a T, right? Identifying enemies as a unifying cause, supremacy of the military. Trump sees Newsom as a political adversary. He sees undocumented migrants as the unifying enemy. Newsom, being someone willing to stand up to him, he wants to utilize the military, the National Guard, the Marines he's mobilizing to crush him, both politically and physically, through the destruction caused in his city, utilizing, I mean, what he's already mobilized and who knows what else.
He clearly wants to pick this fight with him. And, you know, Trump also kind of delights in seeing his enemies attempt to take him on and not succeed, right? And I think you're seeing an element of that as well, because, you know, I think it's worth noting that, Newsom also hasn't been successful in the courts so far to the extent he would probably like to be. And I think that is really one of the big questions here for Democrats. I mean, what their base is demanding of them is that they do something that so far the system is not allowing them to do. And Democrats are working within the systems that, are democratic systems that they so vociferously depend on. And so this is, this enormous tension here. And this is why Trump's able to kind of exploit the Democrats or agitators or whoever they are that are going outside the system, because Trump can look at that and say, look at this is violent, this is wrong, this is horrible. But on the flip side, the systems that are in place have not so far given Democrats what they want.
Right. And to be fair here, it's pretty well laid out that most immigration powers lie with the executive. So through the judicial process, Trump almost definitely comes out on top in this battle to do this. It just confuses me on what conservative principles are, because they pretend to be for states' rights and small government, and states can choose gun laws and states can choose abortion laws and the federal government shouldn't encroach. This is where the power needs to be. They supported Texas having their National Guard on the border against Biden's wishes, but then anytime blue states have laws they don't like, they want the federal government to encroach. And the funniest part of all is, like, there's a literal iron pipeline, right? You can trace dangers that red states cause with their relaxed gun laws on those blue states with more strict gun laws. Criminals buy the guns in red states, take them to blue states, and do the crime, which would justify why a federal government might step in and encroach there. Yet Republicans are like, no. But then nothing like this exists with sanctuary states. There's no migrant crime pipeline, as much as they'll just say, yeah, and then point to no evidence. It just doesn't exist. But they're like, yeah, encroach there. There's no logical consistency with these points. And I think it's time we just start admitting that conservatives want democracy for the ideas that they agree with, and they want fascist authoritarianism for everything else.